Hello internet people, I'm Noxton, a small streamer spending way too much time on Splatoon. Well, a friend of mine joked around recently that I should make a video on how to play Ballpoint in Salmon Run, because he basically can't do it, and according to him, I can. Well, as someone who is stupid enough to take this seriously, I sat down, wrote a few things, and now I'm making a video of my thoughts, because why not? A little side note here, I'm not the best Splatoon player in the world, and I don't even play competitive as making this video. I just explain some of my thoughts here and on how I would play that weapon. So if you have a few suggestions are better than me, just please write them down in the comments. With that you can maybe help others as well. This video also tries to focus a little bit specifically on the ballpoints, but there will be some general tips here and there. But for overall tips on how to play better in Salmon Run, there are plenty enough videos on YouTube as well. So with the introduction done, we can now start the video with how to play ballpoint in Salmon Run. So first off, some basics about the weapon. Ballpoint is a splatling with two different firing modes. A short range mode which lasts around a quarter of the circle, and a long range mode with a little bit more accuracy and obviously more range. You can charge it, and first it will only shoot in short range. After the first quarter it will change to the long range mode. The position where the change happened will not change. So if you shoot in long range and charge again, then you will switch to short range again at the point where you switched previously. There's a video from Hasmi where he explains it a little bit better with a visible bar. I link it here and in the description below. A full charge of the weapon will use roughly around a quarter of your tank. Keep this in mind, I will talk about this a little bit later. And to charge one ring you need to wait around 50 frames. So basically around 1.6 seconds for both rings. And ballpoint will fire double the amount of time you charge. So basically charge 100 frames and you can shoot 200 frames, which lasts around 3.2 seconds. The short range mode is particularly useful for dealing damage. It fires a bullet every 3 frames, and if the game would run in 60 FPS, according to SplatoonWiki.org, then that would result in 20 bullets for 1 second. That's the highest fire range of all available online Splatoon weapons, if you can maintain the short range for that long. A bullet in Salmon Run deals roughly around 32 points of damage, so with that fire rate and that damage you can deal with lessers pretty quickly, if you can hit them of course, because the spread of the bullets is bigger while firing in short range mode. The long range mode shoots a little bit slower with a bullet every 5 frames, resulting in 12 bullets a second. But the damage here is a little bit higher with 35 points of damage. The range is quite high, but still a little bit shorter than the range of a Hydra. So this mode is useful to kill bosses or enemies farther away from you, or to revive mates without moving close to them or the enemies. It has perfect accuracy while standing or walking on ground, and the bullets are moving a little bit slower than from the other splatlings, but this won't rarely matter in Salmon Run. So keep these points in mind, because they are a little bit more important for the general tips with ballpoint. First tip, ink management. As mentioned before, the ballpoint used for a full charge are quarter of your ink tank. So basically you can throw a bomb, charge full and already be out of your ink. Or you can throw your egg and use 2 full charges, as a egg throw use 50% of your tank, even if it needs 75% to be used in the first place. You can't regenerate ink while shooting or charging, but you still can charge even if you are out of ink. It will just take forever, so please don't do this. A trait for the ballpoint is that you can charge while you shoot, or more likely, you can hold your charge and recharge before your shooting ends. So it's very tempting to shoot, to charge, shoot and charge again. But playing like this will leave you with an empty ink in the most important times, or basically right before you die. So stop shooting if you have room and regenerate ink while you're watching, I don't know, the salmonids, your mates, whatever happens on screen though. Get rid of FlyFishes. While charging and shooting, you are walking slower. So bosses which disturbs your movement without getting close are a little bit annoying, especially flyfishes. My, let's say, least favorite enemies there. Stingers aren't that much of a problem because you're still mobile enough to jump and dodge their attack, but flyfishes are something else because it's really annoying to always dodge missiles while you don't need them. So keep in mind that you need 75% of your ink tank to throw a bomb. So be careful when you try to fight them. This is one of the general tips here, but with a ballpoint you need to look after them and get rid of them as soon as possible. Know your movement. With speaking of avoiding and jumping, here's a small little tip. When you charge up your shoot, you will be slowed down as every other splatling. But the amount of the slowed down is a little bit different. And so is your jumping height. While charging up, you can hardly jump on the small ledges, but while shooting, it's a little bit easier. I'm showing this here in the training area because there aren't many ledges of that height in Salmon Run with the ballpoint as I'm recording it. It's hard to see, but I need to press the jump button a little bit longer if I want to get up there while charging up. If you have the wrong ink under your feet, it'll be even harder to jump high enough. I guess the best example of a ledge like this is on low tide gone fishing hydro plant on the right side of the basket. Please ignore the weapon because I don't have any footage with ballpoint there. Or any other ledges on Fission, because there are plenty of them apparently. Well, next time I need to keep my eyes open when I'm making tips like this. Use your range. Well, that tip can explain itself. You have the range, so go on and use it. You have a slower firing rate, but can reach enemies before they are getting close to you. You still need to get the eggs, but for killing stingers it's really useful because you can kill them and leave the eggs at the shore. On some ways getting these eggs could be troublesome, but killing a sting will help you in the long run or the rest of the wave basically. With the range you can even take out flyfishes before they are landing. If you are skilled enough and not like me to be honest. Otherwise just wait for them to land and aim to the right side of their pole. So they will fly into your shots, resulting in killing themselves basically. Lure bosses. That's more like a general tip, but try to lure bosses a little bit to the basket before killing them. Not too much, because it can snowball really fast if you can't handle them, but it's better than carrying the eggs from the shore to the basket. With the long range mode, it's very tempting to kill bosses as they spawn, but as mentioned before, you somehow need to get the eggs to the basket then. So you either swim back and forth or you throw the eggs, costing 50% of your ink. It's not wrong killing them early, but try to keep the consequences in your mind if you kill them, well, basically as they spawn. And if you can make up for it, do it. Otherwise, don't do it and just wait a little bit so they run towards you, towards the basket, and then kill them. Lure eggs. So much for the bosses. Your second choice of getting eggs is to let egg catchers carry your eggs. Depending on their spawn point, 1 of 3 on every map and water level, they can carry the eggs over the basket to you. So look where they spawn at the beginning of a wave, let them pick up the faraway eggs and don't kill them there. When they fly near the basket and sometimes directly over you, kill them quick with your long range mode. The dropped eggs can then be delivered. Keep in mind that delivering eggs don't interrupt your charge, but will interrupt your shooting. So pay attention, you can charge again, so you can maintain the length of your charge if you do it within a second though. The fight against the Cohozuna. Now to the fight against the big boy himself. The fight against him is pretty straightforward. Kill the bosses, throw eggs on him and deal damage while avoiding to get smushed by his big belly. I don't really like the concept of adding strict rules into the mix, but some weapons can deal consistently damage to the Cohozuna, like Hydro or Sploosh, and others can deal damage against single targets or crowds like chargers and blasters. Ballpoint here is kinda in the middle. With the long range mode it can deal with bosses and lessers, and with the short range mode it can deal massive damage to the Cohozuna if all shots hit him, and you can maintain the short range mode over a period of time. My general tip here is one player is keeping the Cohozuna busy by staying near him and shooting all the time, and the other players are dealing with bosses, so you have eggs to throw at him and less things that can be annoying. If you try to deal damage to him with the ballpoint, go get close, charge your shot and attack him while staying in short range mode. So, as mentioned before, charge, shoot, charge, shoot. As far as I know, Ballpoint is compared to Sploosh when it comes to dealing damage to the big boy. So let's look at the numbers. The Sploosh deals 45 damage per bullet and shoots a bullet every 5 frames. It's as fast as the long range mode, but hits harder. So according to math, Sploosh deals 440 damage per second. Long range mode deals 35 points of damage per hit, resulting in 420 damage per second. You only need to hit your shots with the spread of the Sploosh, which shouldn't really a problem when the Cohozuna stands right in front of you. The short range mode of the ballpoint shoots a bullet with every 3 frames, but it deals a little less damage of 32 points. This results in 640 damage per second, 100 points higher than the Sploosh. The big difference here is that the ballpoint needs to stop shooting every now and then just to recharge, while the Sploosh just can go brrr until the ink tank is empty. At the end you can get close with the ballpoint, but just keep in mind that you aren't as mobile as a shooter, so try to have at least one escape route if things get rough. Also use your special at the right time if you can get rid of some bosses and or dealing massive damage to the Cohozuna. Don't use them as a panic button. You only have one use during the extra wave, but nobody is killing you if you use them. Well, maybe except for Salmon, but that's another reason. When you activate them, you refill your ink tank, so that's great to stay in action a little bit longer. Let's say you have, for example, Crab Tank as a special, so you can start the wave to go close to the Cohozuna, start shooting until your tank is empty, then get a little bit distance to not get immediately killed as you activate your special, then activate your special, for example the crab, and start dealing massive damage to him, and maybe help your mates if you see them struggling with bosses or almost get killed. And after the special you get close again with your ballpoint and, as before, dealing massive damage to him. Depending on your team and performance, you should be able to kill the Cohozuna pretty easy. So just give it a try. At the end. And that's basically it. Mostly it's just getting used to the weapon in the rotation and playing with your team, not against it. If you can't finish the Cohozuna, don't worry, you will still get scales for it. Even if I was trying to get footage for this video, I lose a few times to him. Well, sometimes you just get bad boss spawns like stings or missiles everywhere, or just general have some bad luck. Apart from that, please try to keep a few things in mind as you play Ballpoint. That's actually the best tip I can give you. Some of the tips I mentioned here in the videos can be used for other weapons as well, but hey, if you have some tips, especially for Ballpoint, please write them down into the comments. I'm happy to read them and maybe to even improve myself a little bit. And that's it for the video. A small note at the end of this video. This is actually my first time doing a video like this, and it's maybe a little bit too focused on one specific weapon, but I just still wanted to try it. Maybe I consider doing more videos for other weapons too, depending on how helpful videos like this really are. I just wait a little bit because, well, there aren't really many videos on YouTube focusing on specific weapons in Salmon Run, at least as I looked around. Even the one Hasmi video I found where he explains the firing and charging of the ballpoint a little bit better than me. It's pretty short and it just explains the firing modes. I will still link it in the description as mentioned before, but yeah, there aren't many videos as I looked around. So what do you think about videos like this? Is it helpful? Is it not? Let me know it somehow, somewhere, maybe the comments or other places on the internet technically. And see you next time. Bye bye.